Well, Roberto Hernandez is an organizer in San Francisco. He's planning a Day Without Immigrants protest for next Monday, when he hopes that tens of thousands of immigrants will refuse to show up for work as a kind of protest. Of course, we already had another Day Without Immigrants protest in February, but Donald Trump is still cracking down on illegal immigration, so apparently it's time for another one. Just how much work are immigrants supposed to miss? Roberto Hernandez joins us tonight. Mr. Hernandez, thanks for coming on. So,
thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. My guess would be, I don't know what's going to happen, of course, but my guess would be that most immigrants, legal or otherwise, come to this country to work, not to become political activists, so most of them probably just going to work, right? I mean, how many people are actually going to take part in this, would you say?
Well, here in San Francisco, we're very political. You're from San Francisco, so you know exactly how we operate here and how we organize, and we stand up and we rise up. And we're not going to stand for having, you know, the Trump administration just say, okay, we're going to build a wall, we're going to deport 11 million people who, just like you just said, are hardworking people. If you look at the number of immigrants that work in the fields here in the state of California, you're talking about hundreds and thousands of them. Who is going to pick the crops here in the state of California if you suddenly all decide, like they want to, deport all the immigrants that work in the fields here in California? And so we are, on Monday, May 1st, here in San Francisco, are going to stand up and we're going to protest. And it's not only about the deportations, but also this wall that he wants to build between Mexico and the United States. You don't build a wall between your neighbors. You know, all these walls around the world have been torn down.
Wait, hold on. Oh, wait a second. Look, there's a huge distinction, of course, between immigrants and illegal immigrants. But in the case of illegal immigrants, and those are the ones you say are being targeted by the Trump administration, don't you think it's a little much to sneak into someone else's country illegally and then protest their government? What country would put up with that? What sane country would allow that to happen?
But let's go back to history. The Native Americans this is their land. You and I and everybody else is an immigrant. This is Native American land. Did they ever ask you for a green card?
I was born about a mile from where you're standing right now.
It's like this government has created this control system about who they let in and who they don't allow to come in. This is a free country.
Name a government. Wait, stop. Wait. No, okay, I got it.
People have always been allowed to come here.
You're throwing so much stuff out here, Roberto, that just give me a chance to respond. Name a government on planet Earth that doesn't control or attempt to control who comes into its country. Has there ever been a government like that anywhere?
Yeah, you go to Tijuana, San Diego, and you can cross the border from the United States into Mexico without no problem. You go from, and I've done it, I've gone from Mexico to Guatemala, I wasn't even asked for a passport, just walk right in. There are many countries that do that.
There are countries that allow sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. There are countries that allow anybody who wants to come in and live and work there. Let me clarify that. There is no such country. There has never been such a country. What you're describing is a place with no government, because the purpose of a government is to define and defend the borders. And so that's never happened.
All right, so let's talk about this government that you're talking about. You know, 11 years ago, we had the exact same protests that we're doing on May 1st in 2006. You remember that? May 1st, 2006? And
vaguely.
Millions of people across the country protested, and our government failed to do comprehensive reform. Obama promised us his first year in office, his second year in office. He got elected again. He promised it. All the finger pointing went back between Congress and the Senate and the president. Yeah, and so, you know,
I'm sorry,
accountable
they're not citizens.
The Congress and Senate and the president for not doing their job.
How can,
and it's unfair that all of a sudden you get Trump in office and he's going to say, okay, well, I'm getting rid of all 11 million people. You're breaking up families.
Okay, I got it.
You're breaking up families.
Okay.
Hard-working people.
Let me ask you one question, and that is, why would a non-citizen who is not allowed to be here, who does not have the right to vote, have a say in how the U.S. government operates?
Very simple. It's you have a farm worker who's the hardest working individual on this planet. Don't you believe he has the right to have a say?
No. And by the way, I admire how hard people.
Well, then you and I disagree because
I'm not against
I've seen farm workers and I've seen the hard work that they do in this country.
Okay. I think the California schools have declined in quality since I left. Roberto, thanks a lot. It's good to see you tonight.